Most people spend their whole lives trying to get ahead, but they never realize the real reason they're stuck in the same place. The problem isn't the effort, it's the mindset. And the craziest part? The more you try to copy the lifestyle of the rich, the further away you get from it. Have you ever felt that way? You work hard, chase your goals, give it your all, but something always seems to be missing. Like there's an invisible wall between you and the life you truly want. No matter how much you dedicate yourself, it feels like you're always running in the wrong direction. I know exactly how that feels. I also used to confuse success with appearances, tried to follow models that weren't mine, and that only left me more lost. Until I understood what the 1% actually do and realized that wealth starts long before money. It starts in the way you think, choose, and quietly build your life. And that's exactly what I'm going to reveal to you in today's video. How to think like the 1% and rebuild your entire life. Stay with me until the end, because once you understand the first brick that holds up the 1% mindset, you'll see that you can rebuild not just your routine, but your entire future. 1. Foundational mindset. Define what 1% really means to you. First things first, think about this with me. A lot of people say they want to think like the 1%, but they don't even know what that 1% truly represents. Most imagine cars, brands, trips, flashy things, but those who are really at the top know that luxury is a result, not an identity. Quietly wealthy people live by a different logic. They seek freedom, time, protection, and autonomy. As Morgan Housel said, "Wealth is what you don't see." And that quote is a direct hit to the ego of those who confuse money with showing off. Now here's the key detail. You can't become a high-performance person using someone else's definition of success. The game changes when you sit down, calmly and honestly, and write what you want for the next 5, 10, and 20 years. How much free time do you want? What level of health? What legacy would help you sleep peacefully? That kind of clarity works like a silent compass. Without it, you'll run fast, in the wrong direction. With it, you build internal control, the most valuable asset of the 1%. To make that real, imagine the story Morgan Housel tells. An ordinary guy, ordinary salary, nothing flashy. Everyone underestimated him because he never looked successful. But year after year, he quietly invested, lived below his means, and built wealth with patience. He didn't make headlines, wasn't a topic of conversation among friends, but he achieved something show-offs never get: freedom. He didn't look rich. He was rich, and no one noticed. That's the kind of wealth that truly matters. Now take a deep breath and make the mental flip that separates amateurs from the elite. Trade. I want to be rich to look rich, for I want to be rich to have choices. That simple switch immediately changes your priorities. You stop seeking external validation and start seeking internal control. You stop spending to impress strangers. You start building the foundations that will sustain your life for decades. People who live to appear, lose. People who live to choose, win. Very few people have the courage to admit this. Most chase symbols because they're afraid of silence, afraid of not looking successful. But the real 1% are comfortable in anonymity. They don't need to prove anything. They invest energy in what builds the future, not in what impresses in the moment. And that behavior is deeply psychological. When you stop chasing external approval, your mind gains space for decisions, not reactions. That's what unlocks true performance. So, before you try to act like the 1%, you need to define what wealth truly means to you in a deep and honest way. Because without that definition, every strategy turns into guesswork. Write down your direction, understand your why, adjust your mental model. The elite aren't born, the elite are built, with clarity, calm, and direction. And it all starts here, with a mindset that's quiet, solid, and entirely your own. This is the first brick of a life that doesn't need applause to be extraordinary. 2. Habit system. How those who achieve consistent success live. There's a silent pattern among high-performance individuals. They don't live at the mercy of their daily moods. They operate by system, not by impulse. Studies from universities like Stanford and MIT show that people with clear routines demonstrate higher levels of self-control, focus, and decision-making under pressure, because the brain uses less energy when following predictable patterns. While most people react, the 1% act with intention, and that creates cumulative growth. Think about it. Creating a 1% daily ritual is simple and powerful. In the morning, you define 3 goals that actually matter. Throughout the day, you work on the highest impact tasks first, not the loudest ones. At night, you do a quick review: what worked, where you failed, and what's the plan for tomorrow. This cycle creates an internal flywheel. Each day becomes a small lever to multiply long-term results. The opposite approach is brutal. A lot of people wait for motivation to start. But top performers know that motivation is unstable, emotional, inconsistent. They don't rely on it. They rely on consistency. While everyone else says, "I'll start tomorrow," the 1% start today, even when tired, even without inspiration. It's this quiet discipline that builds internal confidence, the kind of confidence no one can give you and no one can take away. Studies cited in interviews with elite entrepreneurs, athletes, and scientists reveal another common point. They avoid social activities that drain energy without return. It's not isolation, it's strategy. They protect their time like it's a financial asset, because every wasted hour charges interest in the future. Meanwhile, most people are busy, but not productive. Lots of action, little progress. The 1% do less, but they do what matters. Now imagine starting your day with a sense of total leadership. You know what you're going to do, why you're doing it, and what to ignore. That kind of clarity reduces anxiety and boosts performance. It's like operating with inner calm while the world runs in chaos. When you master your system, you master your rhythm. And when you master your rhythm, you master your results. In the end, habits aren't just behaviors. They're silent statements about who you're becoming. A well-built system transforms you into someone reliable with yourself. Someone who follows through, who moves forward, who grows. And that's what separates trying to improve from actually leveling up. The 1% don't wait for perfect days. They create efficient days. And that changes everything. 3. Continuous growth. Growth mindset versus fixed mindset. The truth is simple. Those who grow consistently see the world through a different lens. Carol Dweck, a psychologist at Stanford, demonstrated in her studies with thousands of students and professionals that people with a growth mindset treat failures as data, not defeats. They evaluate, adjust, and keep moving forward. While a fixed mindset protects the ego, a growth mindset protects the future. That difference changes every decision and defines who progresses and who stays stuck. Now think practically. 20 to 30 minutes of micro-learning per day might seem like nothing, but they're incredibly powerful over time. Reading one chapter, studying a skill, practicing a specific exercise. The brain responds to repetition with neurological reinforcement, creating new pathways of competence. High performance isn't a leap, it's a sum. And those who understand this never rely on magic moments to evolve. Let me show you with a simple story. Imagine someone starting from zero, working a job that doesn't develop any major skills. But that person decides to study sales, learn communication, practice decision-making. Little by little, they grow internally until one day, opportunities start to show up. It wasn't luck, it was silent building. And that kind of transformation happens every day, for those who are willing to learn nonstop. Here's the psychological detail. When you change, "I'm not good at this" to "I'm not good at this yet," your mind opens a door that was previously locked. That small yet creates space for practice, courage, and patience. This is the kind of mental pattern shared by billionaires, athletes, and scientists. They don't operate based on what they know today. They operate with the conviction that they can become better tomorrow. And the more you practice this mindset, the more comfortable you become with challenges. Notice how that gives you a competitive advantage. Problems stop being threats and start becoming training. Discomfort becomes a sign of expansion. And suddenly, you realize you're doing things that once felt impossible, simply because your brain stopped sabotaging you and started playing on your side. In the end, continuous growth is a silent commitment to yourself. It's understanding that each small improvement compounds like internal interest. The 1% don't see themselves as ready. They see themselves as under construction. They don't seek perfection, they seek progress. Those who adopt this mindset don't just level up. They change their identity. 4. High-value choices. Prioritize assets and impact, not urgency or appearance. Most people live reacting to whatever shows up. Urgent tasks, minor problems, demands that don't move life forward. But those operating at the 1% level think strategically. They apply, even if intuitively, a logic similar to the 80-20 principle. A few actions generate most of the results. This creates a powerful mental filter. Anything that doesn't contribute to growth, freedom, or prosperity instantly loses priority. Now imagine applying that in your daily life. Before acting, you use a simple matrix: impact versus urgency. What brings the highest return in the long run? What builds skills, capital, or reputation? What brings you closer to the future you defined at the beginning? That filter removes 80% of the noise that drains your energy. It forces you to work with intention, not in firefighting mode, which is where most people lose their lives. You know what's interesting? While many brag about being always busy, the 1% know that being busy isn't the same as making progress. They do fewer tasks, but the right ones. They don't spend 10 hours solving urgent issues that'll be irrelevant tomorrow. They invest 2 hours building something that will change their lives in 5 years. That contrast is brutal, and it explains why so few actually grow. This mindset is supported by accounts from top achievers, entrepreneurs, scientists, artists. Many describe their biggest breakthroughs happening when they started protecting focus and dropping low-value tasks. Nobel Prize-winning economist Herbert Simon once said that attention is the rarest resource in modern times, and those who waste attention waste their future. The 1% know this and act like investors of their own time. Now imagine entering your day with that kind of clarity. You stop being pulled by other people's urgencies. You stop getting distracted by appearances, status, or social pressures that bring zero return. You take real control over where your energy goes, and focused energy turns into wealth, skill, and opportunity. This is where life starts to become a long-term game. At the end of the day, choosing with value is an act of self-control and personal leadership. It's not about doing everything. It's about doing what matters. When you master this filter, your life stops being a race and starts being a build. You leave the cycle of urgency and enter the cycle of impact. And it's in that space where the 1% grow while the rest just wear themselves out. 5. Patience and time. Building wealth and life. Change is a long-term game. The human mind is addicted to immediacy. It craves results today, fast returns, instant validation. But, as Morgan Housel shows in The Psychology of Money, sustainable wealth is born from patience, consistency, and emotional control, not lucky breaks. Studies tracking investors over decades reveal the same pattern. The biggest returns don't come from the smartest, but from the calmest. Those who endure time outperform those who chase shortcuts. Now think about this practically. Every decision you make either builds or destroys your 5, 10, or 20-year future. When you adopt a decade, not quarter mindset, your perspective shifts. You stop trading what's essential for what's urgent, what's important for what's immediate. This outlook shields you from anxiety, impulsiveness, and comparison. Instead of chasing spikes, you build a base, and solid foundations can withstand any season of life. True success stories reinforce this. People who accumulated invisible wealth, assets, freedom, control over their time, didn't do it in one big move. It was discipline, habit, and repetition. The kind of quiet consistency no one applauds, but everyone notices later. While many are searching for fast tracks, those who understand the game know that wealth thrives on silence, routine, and emotional maturity. Here's the contrast. When you say, "I want results now," your mind goes into scarcity mode. You become impulsive, reactive, vulnerable to shiny offers and promises of quick returns. But when you shift to, "I want solid foundations for tomorrow," your physiology changes, your behavior changes, your focus sharpens. Short-term expectations create anxiety. Long-term horizons create power. Now imagine operating with that kind of calm. Every small action in your day, saving a little, studying more, working steadily, investing with discipline, becomes a brick that supports who you'll be a decade from now. It's a quiet but irreversible construction. And the most incredible part is how your self-confidence grows when your life stops feeling rushed and starts feeling strategic. In the end, patience is not passivity. It's strength. It's self-control in the form of vision. It's choosing to play a game that almost no one is brave enough to play, long enough to win. The 1% understand that time is life's greatest multiplier. Those who respect time create wealth. Those who fight time create frustration. The choice is yours, and it determines everything else. 6. Relationships and environment. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Think about it. No one grows in isolation. Thomas C. Corley, in his research on self-made millionaires, shows that high-achieving individuals carefully choose who they keep close. They avoid relationships that encourage complacency, victimhood, or stagnation, because they know the environment shapes behavior more powerfully than motivation. If you're surrounded by people who think small, sooner or later, your mind shrinks too. Environment doesn't just influence, it defines. Now for the practical part, conduct a social audit. List the people most present in your daily life, friends, colleagues, family, and ask yourself, Does this relationship lift me up or pull me down? Does this person encourage growth or reinforce inertia? This exercise requires courage because it exposes truths you've probably always felt but never verbalized. And yes, sometimes growth means creating silent distance, not conflict. Real stories make this clear. Some people completely change their lives after switching their social circle to more ambitious environments. Mentors, focused colleagues, people with discipline and vision. Behavior follows context. When you're around people who grow, growth becomes the norm. When you're around people who complain, quitting becomes the habit. And no one notices it happening until it's too late. Here's the psychological insight. Seeking approval from just anyone is a shortcut to mediocrity. But seeking alignment with people who think big creates a kind of high-performance gravitational field. You naturally elevate your standards, language, decisions, and behaviors. Your brain begins to operate under the logic of growth, not comfort. It's like changing your mental altitude. The air gets lighter, but the expectations rise. Now imagine stepping into daily conversations that energize you instead of draining you. Being in environments where effort is normal, not something to mock. Where discipline is admired, not criticized. That creates a silent transformation in your sense of identity. You start acting like someone destined to grow, because you're surrounded by people who grow unapologetically. In the end, choosing your circle is choosing your speed. The right relationships expand your vision, strengthen your mindset, and accelerate your progress. The wrong ones drag you down to a level where nothing thrives. The 1% protect their environment like they protect their assets, because in both cases, what's at stake is the future. 7. Build a complete life system, not just chase money or one-time success. Most people try to grow by focusing on just one area: money, career, recognition. But those who truly operate at the 1% level know that isolated success collapses. Sustainable high performance requires integration, physical health, mental clarity, purpose, relationships, finances, and time. Research compiled by performance experts shows that individuals who balance these areas enjoy longer productive lifespans, less anxiety, and more strategic clarity. The 1% don't chase sprints, they build systems. Now think practically, design your own life wheel. Choose 5 to 7 essential areas: health, finances, career, relationships, learning, purpose, leisure, and assess where you're strong and where you're weak. Then, set small, specific, consistent goals for each area. This model forces you to grow in a multidimensional way. You stop putting out fires and start building foundations. The most powerful detail here is simple. When one area collapses, all the others suffer. You make money, but lose your health. You rise in your career, but ruin your relationship. You grow financially, but lose your sense of purpose. That's why the 1% treat self-care, rest, and mental clarity as strategic parts of life, not luxuries. They know productivity is the result of a well-nourished system, not blind effort. Accounts from high performers, entrepreneurs, artists, scientists reinforce this idea. What separates those who burn out from those who evolve isn't intensity, it's systemic consistency. They build routines that support performance over decades. Nutrition, sleep, exercise, reading, time for reflection. None of that is extra. All of it is infrastructure. They understand that without caring for the machine, there is no reliable result. Now imagine living with that structure. Waking up knowing your health is aligned, your finances are under control, your purpose is clear, your relationships are strong. Each area reinforces the others. You work better because you sleep better. You earn more because you think more clearly. You make better decisions because you have purpose. That synergy creates a rare mental state, calmness with power. In the end, thinking like the 1% means giving up the frantic pursuit of a single result and building an entire life that sustains results across the board. It means living with purpose, balance, and intelligence. It means understanding that true wealth isn't just in your wallet, but in your body, your mind, your time, and your relationships. When you build a complete system, you stop surviving and start thriving in a way that lasts.